Well, hello, my friends. So, all right. I got this comment. A lot of people asking me about this point I made in my prior video, one of my prior videos about American Psycho. And so to paraphrase myself here, what I said was that this book, American Psycho, is the death nail of modernism because it exposes modernism. So, what the hell could I possibly mean by that? Well, in order to explain myself here and also talk about American Psycho, I need to talk about all of the literary canon as it exists right now so that you know what I'm talking about. So this book, you might be familiar with it, is called Ulysses by James Joyce. Ulysses by James Joyce is a fascinating novel. It is basically the length of the Bible, and here's the problem. It doesn't seem to make any damn sense at all. So now here's the thing. Intellectuals out there will tell me that I'm wrong about that and that it actually makes total sense, and it's just I just am not seeing it for what it is. I am unable to understand it because there's such a density of allusions in the book to other written works that I would need to analyze all of writing, the entire literary canon, to even understand Ulysses. But if I did, then I would have a transcendent experience. I would become different. I would understand the world differently. So that's pretty modern in its idea. I mean, the thing is, this book is a lot of things. I'm gonna just say a couple of disparaging things about James Joyce now. This is a stream of consciousness novel that also seemingly it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense, and the only way that it does make sense is if you are a massive mega-brained genius, which unfortunately I was born stupid, so I can't understand it. I've read this. I didn't finish it. I won't lie to you. After about 100 pages, you start to say to yourself, Jesus Christ, there's no way that it can go on for the length of the Bible, but surprisingly, it can. Oh, it can. If you're lost, you'll never get it. If you try to get unlost, you're supposed to really, really like it. That said, I've never had somebody explain it to me in a way that I felt like meant anything whatsoever or meant more than the sum of its parts. So, like, yes, James Joyce can reference a lot of things in the literary canon, but the things that he references are often, like, superior in every single way to anything that he's ever written. Yet, this is considered the greatest work of literature of all time. It is considered the best novel ever written, maybe other than like Anna Karenina, which is also partially a modernist work. But this one is unique in its influence. A lot of people read this, and a lot of people were like, I'm about to do this and only this for the rest of my days. So that's modernism in a nutshell. So now we're going to talk about this book. This is called The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. So here's the deal. Sylvia Plath, she didn't write a biblically lengthy novel. She also did not write in a style that didn't make any fucking sense and was utterly elitist. Basically, you have to have gone to like Yale to even begin to understand Ulysses. No, this is a pretty plain kind of stream of consciousness novel, but this is like one of the most important novels of our modern times. If you go on TikTok, not only will you find tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people saying that this book is the damn best book ever, but they'll also be talking about plenty of works that are influenced by this book. So this book's presence in culture, it's just unmatched. It's just one of the most important works. It's sort of Catcher in the Rye-esque in its prevalence. But here's the deal. This book is cynical, miserable. It's extremely depressive. It's all about somebody who's experiencing mental illness, and it's self-reflexive, which means that it's stream of consciousness about itself. So Sylvia Plath is ultimately talking about her own depression, which would then later take her life, and how she felt like she was a victim of her own brain. And so much of this book is about the brain hurting the self, which is a very post-Freudian idea. So this should add up to you, right? If you take something like Freud, right, the idea that we're exploring the mind and its urges, we are a passenger to the mind, we don't understand it, and the brain is everything. The brain, in and of itself, creates all of reality, and there is no real spirit. Ultimately, the understanding of God is very strained. I don't know. So that's the bell jar. And then we're going to talk about this book. Oh my God. It's Infinite Jest. Wow. If you go on to youtube.com, which I imagine you're on right now because you're watching me, you're going to stumble upon even some pretty smart people saying that this book is a transformative piece of work. And I want to highlight that word transformative here. It's a very important word. What does it mean? I don't know. Do you know? It means something's changed, I guess. You take something and you change something, or you change a person with text. I really don't know. Non-genre? Does it just mean non-genre? I really don't know. So, this book is very large, as you might see. It's biblically length, Bible length. This is considered postmodernism. So this is after modernism. And of course, insert Jordan Peterson voice. Postmodernism sucks or whatever, but we'll explain why that's a limited perspective. So on the back of the book here, you'll see the word gargantuan in a quote, a gargantuan mind-altering comedy about the pursuit of happiness in America, right? So in and of itself, right, you don't need to read the book, okay? I'm going to just tell you right now, you don't have to read it. Just looking at it, you can see what it is. This is an intellectual trying to understand their place in America. And based on the amount of pages, I would call that a pretty big old failure to understand their place in America. They don't have the tools to do so. And ultimately, I think that is David Foster Wallace's biggest frustration, is that he does not feel like he possesses the tools necessary to elucidate how he feels. So, if you were to just open up any old book, any old page of this book and begin reading, you're going to stumble on lists like you've never seen before. Matter of fact, that is the one thing that pretty much all three of these books here have in common. They're all masterpieces of list making. They're all about somebody just writing down their daily grocery list and then doing it again and again and again. Then he had a seizure. The floor of the subway car became the ceiling of a subway car, and he was on his arched back in the waterfall of light, gagging on Old Spice and watching his tumid limbs tear ass around the car's interior like undone balloons. The booming zuckung was his high heels drumming on the solid floor tile. He heard a rushing train roar. There was no train on earth that felt a vascular roaring, rushing, that until the pain hit seemed like the gathering of a kind of orgasm of the head. It's not bad. It's not bad writing, okay? It's just it's very stretch the experience, stretch the consciousness. So very stream of consciousness, very long ass book. Not a lot happens in this book, which would not surprise you. But that's okay. Again, this is considered basically one of the last modern masterpieces next to like Gravity's Rainbow, pretty much. So these books, these three books here are in a large way responsible for the modern literary canon. So, you know, from James Joyce to Infinite Jest, this little pocket here of time is pretty much the most influential piece of the literary canon that we consider now today when writing our own work. I know I've written 3 books. Each one of my books was plagued with these. These books, I mean, Sylvia Plath and Fluids definitely have a lot in common. Girl Flesh and Infinite Jest certainly have some in common. I owe debts is my point, but debts to these things is somewhat problematic, right? Because what I've expressed to you basically is intellectual elitism, intellectual cynicism, depression as an end unto itself, trying to understand the brain and not the soul, feeling completely detached from other people and from community and from communicating with the spirit. It feels like a lot of where we've ended up as a culture is responsible because these books are responsible somewhat for that, which brings us to this book. American Psycho is a more important and better book than you think that it is. Let me explain. So first and foremost, it is a masterwork of list making. There's a lot of lists. Man loves his Armani suits, and he will describe them to you for pages and pages. But here's the weird thing. He'll go on and on and on about his Armani suits for days. And then the next thing he'll be like, and then I piss in my own mouth. And I'm a murderer. I kill everyone. The point is that these books, the modernist canon, right, struggle to say what Bret Easton Ellis is very, very willing to say, which is that in order to write Infinite Jest or The Bell Jar or Ulysses by James Joyce, you have to be kind of a psychopath. Like, you would have to be a psycho to do this. Why would anybody do this, right? You look at this and you go, man, this guy's probably depressed. And buddy, he's not alive. So what I'm saying is this in a way is able to express this total psychopathy better than almost anything else because it handles that right on its face. The modern American condition is to be a well-educated, terrible person who's self-obsessed to an insane level, who thinks that everything around them is just charioting them around. And that's ultimately Patrick Bateman as a character. Now, there's big differences between the film directed by Mary Herron and the book written by Bret Easton Ellis. There's differences. People frequently talk about that. I think they actually both have pretty equal merits, but this one is different than the movie. Because this is a book, it is essential that it is speaking about literature more than it's just speaking about culture. So, in a way, this book is the death nail of modernism. It solves the problem because it basically says what we've more or less been encouraged to become as artists are these depressive, self-obsessed, psychopathic morons who make these incredible lists and then call them meaning. We think that somebody listing off, every drug imaginable, like in Infinite Jest, where he literally lists off for pages and pages and pages on the end notes, just shit after shit of every drug imaginable, you know, and then you've got this person complaining and just being the most depressed, most miserable person imaginable. And then here we have someone who is so up their own ass that they have forgotten what it's like to communicate with a regular person. This book is made for gods to read, not for human beings. And that's the biggest problem with it, right? These books are all elitist and they're all limited, extremely limited. This book is very aware of this. It's very aware of how limited the whole enterprise is, and it seeks to destroy it from within. So this is, I would call this postmodern, but it's postmodern in a very different way than Infinite Jest is postmodern. It's more concerned with showing this generalized psychopathy that we all seemingly possess. That's the meaning of the ending, by the way, when everybody talks about the ending where the lawyer is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like the lawyer knows that Patrick Bateman's a serial killer, but doesn't care. The thing is, they're all serial killers, right? Everyone in the room kills people. Everybody kills people. Everybody sucks. Everyone's pilled on the same fucking bullshit. And Patrick Bateman is dumb because he thinks he's unique, right? He thinks he's unique, but he's not. They're all like him. And that is the ultimate point of American Psycho. That not only is Patrick Bateman a killer, but he's very American, right? And not only is he very American, but he's very modernist. He's a very modern man, right? And not only that, but everyone around him is exactly like him, and he doesn't even realize that he is being played for the fool. It is an incredible work of literature, and I highly recommend it. I would say read all these books if you can. Be intellectually curious first and foremost. I think the world would be a better place if everyone was more intellectually curious. So I suggest you do that. Give that a shot. And we'll talk more about this in the future, because this whole pre-modern, modern, postmodern thing, this is the great debate of our time. If you go to the bookstore and you look at like book talk books, right? You're going to find a lot of this. Everybody wants to write this book, but no one has except for her. And also, buddy, I don't know how to put this to you, but you probably shouldn't do this. There's so much you can do. Literally behind me, I have like 1,000 books here. I have like so many fucking books, and I love so many of them. You know, where's the I'm inspired by John Milton primarily, or I'm inspired by you know, I don't know, Kurt Vonnegut or Thomas Pynchon. Where's that? It's nowhere, unfortunately. Instead, we're all addicted to this stupid bell jar, man. Anyway, we need to get over it. And we're going to do it together. So, thanks for watching. Thank you for almost 1,000 subscribers now. I imagine by the time this video comes out, I might even be at 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy because it's only been about 2 days. So, got to be the fastest anybody's ever gotten 1,000 subscribers. I'm kind of amazed at that. Catching up with the other book tubers very quickly. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.